everyone, the Lone Wolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online, and today's video is going to be a bit of an EVE news update because there are a few topics that I want to talk about that have piqued my interest, that I thought I should cover. And those are, first of all, the Ammarr Championships. Next up, Operation Frostline, which is coming next month. Then we've got the mass tests that did not go so well. And then finally, I also want to touch on all of the RMT drama that's happening on Reddit at the moment concerning the Imperium and the Mittani.com. So let's get started. First of all, I will start with the Ammarr Championship. For that, we can actually go to the world news. So community website sounds good. Come on, community websites, work with me here. Then in the game world news, we can see that House Tashmir Khan dominated the Imperial succession trials and the finals are set against House Khorazor. Now, some of you may still remember that at first I was not too happy with the format that CCP had chosen. I would have preferred to see at least some in-game events where people could show maybe their support for the houses or try and sabotage efforts from the Ammarr Empire, just giving everyone a chance to be involved in the storyline. But now I have watched most of the Ammarr Championships, and I must say it was a very nice tournament. CCP did a really good job on that. I think CCP Antiquarian managed to lead the Disc Boys very well. I thought it was all entertaining, it had a good flow, and the restrictions and the rules that CCP came up with for all of the different brackets made for some very entertaining and fun matches. So yeah, I'll eat my words. The Ammarr Championships, I think they were really awesome, fun to watch. If you have not done so, head over to CCP's YouTube channel and check them out. And they've definitely managed to pique my interest, to keep me watching, and to look forward to what's going to happen at FanFest with the finals and to see who is actually going to come out on top. So yeah, thumbs up for the Ammarr Championships, despite the fact that personally, when they were first announced, I would have thought that they would have gone for a different direction. Next up, we've got Operation Frostline. So for that, we'll go for the dev blogs here, Operation Frostline and Holidays 2015. So we don't know a lot about this yet. We know that they should come with the next release on December 8th. Then Operation Frostline should start. We also know that it should be inspired by the Crimson Harvest. So what we can expect, I think, are some type of combat sites that will spawn throughout all of space, and then you'll be able to run them and possibly get some type of rewards that would be mostly vanity items, some cool stuff like that. But what I'm hoping is that the new consortium, which is starting to show up in the world news, will actually make an appearance on this, that they will somehow be involved in Operation Frostline. So we've got, let me see here, the Upwell consortium, which is like a group of NPCs, corporations that are going to build the citadels. That lore is starting to be developed, starting to come out in world news, and what I'm hoping is that an industrialist like myself actually do quite a bit of mining, producing, things like that, that we will also have something to do in Operation Frostline that could help us get into like the good graces of the Upwell consortium, maybe get a skin from them, or possibly later down the line be in a good position when it comes to the citadels when they come out. Doesn't have to be a huge thing, but it is something that I would like to see in the Operation Frostline events. Some link to the Upwell consortium. I'm definitely going to play a lot of the Operation Frostline. I'm gonna look for what it's all about, try to run the sites, try to earn what there is to earn, be active in it. But my hope, not sure if it's gonna happen of course, is that we will actually see a link to the Upwell consortium and to the citadels. That would be absolutely amazing. Next up, I'm going to talk a little bit about the mass tests that did not go so well. So the mass test, I will upload what I've got as the next video, but there were a lot of crashes, a lot of disconnects, and when the PvP fight in Poitot was about to start, I wanted to select another ship to look at shield and armor effects, and I crashed. So it did not go so well. I will do the upload, but if you don't want to watch the entire video, maybe I should give you guys like a compressed impression. There's really 2 points that that come up when I think about the mass test that was run there. First of all, I think a lot of the instability and the problems during the mass test are due to the new orbit camera. So that one is not working well. Sometimes you just end up inside your ship and it's completely unresponsive. After a gate jump and after undocking, there's definitely problems with it. And it's what I was using trying to look at the other ship to get really close by and look at the shields, and that's when I crashed. And so I think big parts of the problem is with the new orbit camera. On the other hand, the other point that I did find out during the mass test is that the tactical camera is pretty useful and has some nifty features, which is the alt dragging. It doesn't work that well. It seems to me like the client doesn't always know what to select inside the box that you're dragging, and so it doesn't work that well. But what does work really good is that you can just alt click something in your overview, and then the tactical camera is going to center around that object. That works really well, and for me, having run the first part of the mass test with the tactical camera, I can see myself actually use that. I was starting to get used to it, and the extra control that you get through alt clicking in the overview makes it for something that feels intuitive, feels usable, and I did like that. So I liked the tactical camera, and I think there are major problems still with the orbit camera. That's what comes out of the mass test. If you actually want to watch the next video, if you don't, that's perfectly fine, because honestly there were quite a few problems, and you don't get the PvP fight because I crashed at that point, but I'll still upload it for those that want to see it. And then finally, let's talk a little bit about RMT. I'm going to try and stay objective and try and go by the facts, and maybe something that could be interesting to start out with when it comes to RMT is the policies page from CCP. And here we have monetization of videos and streaming policy, which is, I guess, a part of the discussion about what's allowed and what's not allowed. So what sparked everything is a leaked conversation that was posted on Reddit from a Goon Swarm director, who has also, I think, been active on the Mitani.com website. And after that, things just started to explode. Although, as far as I can tell, all he really said was that he's not happy with how the Imperium assets are actually being used to prop up the website, which is making the Mitani real life money. And so what we know is happening is actually completely above board. So the Mitani.com pays people in-game ISK to write articles. They post those articles on the Mitani.com, and that webpage has ads running which actually make revenue. So that is actually fine. EveNews24 runs like that, and basically my channel runs like that as well, and it's this policy that allows you to do it. The only difference is, of course, I don't pay myself ISK to make videos, but the idea is the same. You create video, audio, or news content around EVE Online that provides CCP with advertisement, basically, and in return they allow us to put ads on those videos on those websites and get a little bit of revenue. Now, I don't make a lot of money, don't worry. I earn like a few subs a month, that's it, but I feel that this is okay because it's a win-win-win. CCP wins because they get advertising from that, especially if a video goes viral. The makers, they also win because they get a little bit of money for their efforts, and then the advertisers, who are in effect paying the actual money transaction, they should feel like they win as well, because hopefully they get more business out of the advertisement that they paid for. So this is completely above board and is allowed. So the only allegation towards RMT that I have personally found in that conversation is that some corporations have paid or alleged to have paid the Mitani in order to join the Imperium. Now, it was very vague, and I think that we cannot say that there is any proof that RMT is going on, but if that paying the Mittani is ISK in-game, it's absolutely fine, because that's perfectly allowed. If it's real money, like a donation towards the website, then that would be RMT, and that would be against the policy and would be a bannable offense. So I think that the problem for RMT is, of course, trying to define that. There's this big gray area. There's people that are making money, although I think in general it's really not a lot from producing content related to EVE Online. But if I would have to draw a line, for myself, I played 100% safe, so I don't give out prizes, I don't give out anything in game, and I also don't ask for anything. But once you start with asking for donations, giving ISK and prizes in game, and if there's ever any link between what you're giving in game and the revenue you're making, that's when you cross the line and there's actual RMT. And yeah, those things are bannable. It's basically what Sommerblink did. They provided extra benefits. They gave ISK in-game when people would buy time codes through their website, and that, of course, yeah, they get money back from CCP through whenever a time code was bought there, and that was not allowed. That was considered RMT, and I think that's really important, the fact that they were actually being paid by CCP at that point, and that they were laundering ISK in-game to get more revenue from CCP. And I think when it comes to RMT, that's really the one line you should make sure never to cross, that is, don't take away revenue from CCP, which is clearly what Sommerblink was doing, because they were paying ISK for clicks that gave them revenue through the purchases, like a percentage of the purchases that were happening in return for the ISK that they were giving out. And it's the very same thing if a player ever donates real money to someone else for something that happens in game. So let's say that there is this scenario where someone pays real money to join the Imperium or to buy a Titan. Why is this a problem? Because that transaction should happen in-game for ISK, and the way to get the ISK should be either to play the game or to pay Plexus and then have someone else play the game for you, earn the ISK for you. But all of that should be facilitated through the Plex system so that CCP gets its revenue. If someone has a Titan and then sells it straight to another player who pays like through a donation system, that's revenue that CCP doesn't see. They should get their cut, and you should never ever try to siphon money out of the game, because that is when it comes at the cost of the game, and that's where RMT actually hurts the game, when you take away revenue from CCP. This video monetization policy for video and streaming does not affect it in this way, because advertisers pay to advertise, and they don't pay for anything that's happening in game, and so you're not taking any money away from CCP when you do an activity like that, which, as far as I can tell, EveNews24 and themittani.com are above board. But I also saw that CCP Falcon made a post where he said, where basically someone asked, well, is CCP going to step in? And CCP Falcon said, we're not going to step in due to Reddit threads, but if you have something to report, then make a ticket and we'll look into it. So it's bound to be happening at the moment that the GMs are getting hundreds of tickets concerning the Imperium and themittani.com, and they'll have to do their investigation. And if, of course, it does turn out that there's actual money transactions, whether it's through donations or things like that happen in return of in-game things, then we could be in for some interesting time, because I think that would be considered RMT and against the terms of service. So my standpoint on this is be very careful with the accusations that you throw out there. You would need definitive proof that something wrong is happening, and running a website, an EVE Online website, and having ads on that, as you can see from this policy, is perfectly fine. So don't go on a witch hunt. Let CCP do their job, and if something wrong is happening, then I think we should just trust in CCP that they will take the right action. But yeah, it's interesting drama. I actually enjoy reading all of the all of the Reddit threads and comments that are being posted there. There's a lot of witty stuff. There's a lot of interesting stuff. There's a lot of back and forth. But from my point of view, always try to stay objective. And when people say that, well, you pay people to create articles that you monetize, this policy basically allows you to do that, and it's completely above board as long as it's just advertisement revenue. Once actual in-game players start paying you money for things in-game, that's when I think you cross the line. And if you ever plan to make videos or stream or whatever, I would say be very careful when it comes to you yourself giving prizes in game and asking your player for instance, donations and things like that. It's something that I'm trying to stay very, very clear from, that I definitely don't plan to do. I do all of this for fun, and the fact that my videos pay for my subscriptions, that's just a nice little cherry on top and part of the motivation to keep going, but it is definitely not the core of my motivation either. So I look forward to seeing how all this drama is going to work out, what's actually happening behind the scenes, because it is true that the Imperium and the Mittani.com are actually really big organizations compared to anything else that happens in EVE Online, and the ramifications of an RMT scandal happening there would be absolutely huge for the game. It would be total chaos, and I think EVE Online players love nothing better than chaos. Anyways, that's what I wanted to share with you guys, a little bit of an EVE news update. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.